Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to our show. I'm coming to you live from rain-soaked South Carolina, where we've gotten 3 inches of rain today, and the hurricane's not here yet. So that is where we are. So
good luck with that.
Yeah. Just rock you like a hurricane today. So
it's not pollen though, right?
Do what?
It's not pollen though, right?
That's true. It's not pollen. The pollen is just washing down the street. So
do you feel moist?
It is quite moist around here.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I may have said before, I have learned since moving from Atlanta to Charleston, there is Atlanta level of antiperspirant, and then there's Charleston level. You got to hit center square. You got to get under the buticulars and do extra under the arm. So that's just the way it is. I mean, here in Charleston. So anyway, now that I made you all uncomfortable, how are y'all this evening?
I'm pleasantly surprised that you have become more southern by moving further north.
Have I? No. I am further south, buddy.
I don't have a problem with the word moist.
Map. Where's Map Boy? Map Boy, can you show a map that Charleston is further south than Kennesaw or Atlanta or Augusta, Georgia? Can you do that for me? Is that
it's definitely further north.
You dingus.
He's calling you.
It is. Oh, we lost. You made Rich leave. I'm going to pull up a freaking map.
He censored himself.
South Carolina sits on top of Georgia. Just saying.
Well, not all of it.
It's east of Georgia.
Mom sits on top of Georgia.
Oh.
It's probably 6 feet under.
All of Georgia?
Just part of it.
That's a lot.
She's big. She can't work her way all the way up.
Just the pointy part.
Just
the pointy part it sits on.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna be Map Boy today. All right, here we go. Let me share my screen.
I'm Map Boy.
Pushed you.
All right.
The power
There
of photography.
is the yellow dot right there. That is where we used to live. All right. Do you see Charleston? It's south.
Well, I stand corrected, but you still are more northern than you are southern now. So I'm just saying.
He just called you a Yankee again.
I think so. I'd
be offended.
You up and walk you off a plank. So
you'll just throw up a floppy rover and you'll be happy. You'll be fine.
It's true.
1 out of 5 minutes. Anyway, here we go. Waxplat is here. Hello. Pre-chat was good. It was. Fall Equinox. Hello. Entertaining Lane. Hello. Here's that Steve Paluda guy, and
How dare you?
I love you, man.
I'm out of here.
First time we're gonna meet at a thing, he's just gonna pull to this and punch us in the face. That's just what's gonna happen.
It's my fault, Steve. I'm sorry. It's all my fault.
Just stick with Steve and you won't have problems.
Moto, hello. Oh, there's Ryan. Ryan likes the moist. So.
Ryan Moistwood. Oh,
yes, it is. Quite
Ryan gave me one of the nicest compliments that another AFOL could give me today.
You don't smell like you're from Charleston?
I don't smell like I'm from Charleston. But no, I hate to do this because I'm going to do it anyway. But I'm going to steal the beginning of the show. So over the weekend,
I'm building this. By the way, I've got me a.
I have that actually on the way. It should be here sometime tomorrow or the day after. But I built Miniland figures of me and my wife, and Ryan said that I did a good job. And coming from a man who spends most of his day around Miniland.
So which one's your wife?
Smart guy. She's the blonde.
Where's the hip to be square music when you need it?
You can't make that up. And people love to ask me where this tile comes from. It's hysterical. It's fun. But not only did I make Miniland figures of me and the missus, I had to go ahead and make Miniland cats.
Nice.
So we have, Dorian, we have Dante, we have Dexter, Jack, and then I even made the passed away kitties, Sam, Tessa, and poor Desmond. So I actually have all of us, and I even made a cat tree, which was actually a lot of fun, which actually resembles our actual cat tree. So that was cool.
You need to make mini land scale raccoons now.
That is exactly what I should be doing, but for whatever reason today, I got up and I felt the need to build a little mech. I don't know why, but I did. So I built this little mech, and then for whatever reason, when I was playing with that, I decided to build 2 more little droids just for fun.
You making me crazy.
And I want to take this moment to acknowledge and recognize the fact that I am thankful for the fact that I work from home. Because I realize that not everybody gets to stop in the middle of their day what they're doing and go, I got this idea for something I want to build, and I'm just going to go ahead and build it.
You think that's a thing, right? We've been telling you that like every show. You're like, why don't y'all build more? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, we don't sit at home.
Well, I'm just telling you that I acknowledge and I recognize that I am grateful for the fact that I work at home and I get to build when something crosses my, because I was sitting there this morning, I was waking up, getting ready to check my email and whatever the dream I was having. I was like, you know what? I got this whole droid thing, this robot thing in my head. I'm going to sit down and build it. And I can. And because I work from home, and I am thankful for that. So that's all. That's all I got.
You got some love for the droids there, right there. Yeah. I'm excited to have my hands on the new Johnny Thunder. I'm going to build him while we're talking.
I have an old Johnny Thunder around here.
Yeah, and the little red panda is pretty cool too. So
that's actually why I ordered that little, because I needed $10 to get the GWP. So I figured, hey, I need that red panda.
It's cool. Cool. All right. So one of the main things we'll probably be yakking about today, since Magnus has come to see us and brought his friend Alex, who I believe I met. Magnus and I had talked about off show. It has been literally 10 years since we've seen each other face to face, because that's the last time I went to Brick Fair, Virginia. But Brick Fair, Virginia just got done. So we do want to spend some time finding out about Brick Fair, Virginia from you. And also Rich, I know, went there because that's home show for you guys and everything. So we'll get around to do that. So we'll put you guys kind of towards the end so we can have more time to talk about it, if that's cool. But let's just go. Well, Rich is left. I'll start with Steve. How are you? What's up in your Lego world?
Not a whole lot.
Polluda.
Oh, you're so
Polluda.
I love you, man.
Yeah, right. Not a whole lot. It's been going on. I recently joined up with Jesse and the Critical Bricks crew, and I've been playing some D&D.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm jealous, by the way. I just wanted to tell you I'm jealous of that.
I've never played before. It's taken my nerddom up a level. It's kind of fun. Have you guys seen the movie Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah.
Yes.
With Chris
Pretty fun.
I'm actually a bard. They needed a bard, so I'm like your Chris Pine. We actually had a fun encounter, I guess that's what they call it, where there was an object inside of a monster, and we had to figure out we were gonna attack this monster because he was sleeping, and we had a whole plan. And I decided I was gonna teleport inside of the monster. So that was the whole thing, like Guardians of the Galaxy, fight my way up kind of thing. But yeah, it was pretty fun. I kind of like it, and I've never been excited for CMFs or anything like that ever really, but I think I want to get the Dungeons and Dragons CMFs that are coming out. So
good for you.
Yeah.
It's also been it's been a year since Baldur's Gate 3 was released on video game systems and PC, and it's a really good Dungeons and Dragons game. If anybody enjoys gaming, it's very cool.
Need to get it.
I just want to say that I have never played D&D because of witchcraft and reasons, but I am super excited about the new CMS. Like the prints on stuff, the design on it. Like I not only do I want one of each, but I actually want more than one of several of the characters. Like they look fantastic.
Yeah. So now I just need to figure out how I'm going to get all 12 of them. So
I gave you a link. I gave you a
I know.
coupon code.
I want the Lego points though.
You don't get a lot of Lego points for those.
You know, Dana, half the stuff you says goes right over my head anyway. So
I mean, the easiest way is to buy the 6-packs, buy like 3 of them, because then you hope to get 2 full or like a set with 6 extras.
There you go.
The easiest way is to go to Minifigures Plus and just order the set like I did, and they give you a discount.
That's exactly what I told him to do, but he wants the Lego VIP points.
yeah, because I wanted to buy them. I wanted to use my points to get them.
Okay,
Well, then
I
just
was going to say
download the
you
app.
get the discount already for ordering them from Minifigures Plus, and it's more than what the VIP.
But he said he wants to use his existing points to redeem them for the figures.
Because he
understand.
can't possibly use those points for any other Lego. I mean, that would not work.
That Matthew understands where I was going.
Oh, I know. I'm just wanting to repeat how silly it sounds.
Steve, are you close to a store, like a Lego store?
About 90 minutes away from one.
Well, if you can get to one, just download that Brick Search app or whatever it's called, and just scan the barcodes.
Yeah.
It'll take you 10, 15 minutes, and usually if they don't have them, you can ask, and they'll maybe go in the back and grab another box.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm just trying to hype it up. You know, now I got to figure out how to do it. It's really not that.
Let me just go ahead and those. It's one of the funniest moments of any movie. It was in the D&D movie, and it's the moment of Chris Pine. What is this thing? There we go, where he's melting down.
Yes.
I don't think it's working.
Break.
That is probably the funnest moment in the whole movie.
And I hate it. They spoiled that in there was a trailer that had that going in it. That would have been a really excellent surprise moment because it's still hilarious in the moment when it's doing it. So
I did like when they were in the graveyard and they were waking up all the undead to like question them, and then like at the end of it they don't give the guy 5 questions. He's like, oh, now what?
But at the same time, though, that was kind of a repeat of a Hellboy bit anyway. But still funny. I still enjoy it.
so quickly. Don't be dogging the movie I like. All right, Steve, you got anything else going on Lego wise? You're just planning on spending more money, so
yeah, I'm heading up a collab, which I have no idea how to do. So it's still top secret. I don't want to give it away, but it's begun a little bit. No one really wants to work on it right now because conventions are still going on. So
It's so next year.
So next year. So
collab.
but I've been designing more in studio, so that's a thing. Dana's proud of me.
I am.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I think. Would you say, and this is to the panel, would you say it's easier to spin up a collab nowadays or harder since there's more collabs?
I think, you know what? There are too many collabs.
Oh.
It's almost like there's too much to want to be a part of, and that it's like, oh, you want to be a part of all of them, but you can't because it's just not logical.
That's why you dumped us a Moonbase. I hear that. I got it.
I actually, you know what? I mean, calling a spade, that is why I phoned in Moonbase last year at ABC, because I didn't have the time. I was participating in New Hashima. I had my own thing going. Moonbase was off the side that year. So
You have no heart or love for Moonbase. That's what.
says the guy who actually has now turned around and built a Mars base in his basement out of friend sets. So yeah, I have completely given up on Moonbase.
And bring it to the show, and I'll believe it. I'll leave that right there. All right. So.
I am, but the problem is it'll probably be on its own table away from the Moonbase.
See, there's the other problem. Everybody wants to do a collab, then they're like, I got really good at it, so I'll do it on my table. So
I think the collaborations are in this sort of tension between like you kind of need someone, or perhaps a couple of people, but not too many people. You need at least maybe 1 to 2 or 3 people to really kind of lead it and push it and build early and inspire people. But if you have someone who gets too controlling, then people are like, this is just kind of becoming your project, right? So it's a delicate balance between kind of having a leader and not it just becoming one person's mostly their thing. And I think that the best collaborations are not always the ones that have the most number of people. Like, you could have a really good collaboration with just a couple, like 2 to 4 carefully chosen people, as opposed to opening it up to everyone. I very much enjoyed building it collaboratively, but there are, it's a complex thing. There's all kinds of stuff that, all these moving parts, and you build this stuff you could build. No one could build on their own, but if you're building a big landscape and one person doesn't show up, then like you have a gaping hole in the middle of your collab, unless there's some plan B to fill that up.
Or even if somebody's just late. It takes a lot of time when you're waiting for somebody to show up to fill in that spot, because somebody's got to fill around them, and they're in a spot that's horrible for them to be late. And
whoever do you mean, Dana?
Or
the funny thing is I'm actually referencing something from Brick World for New Hashima, but it's funny that you actually referenced something completely different.
Well, we have someone in our lug who is notorious for showing up very late on Friday, who is supposed to fill a large area, and it happens every single time we do a display.
Or someone brings something to the collab but doesn't tell anyone they're bringing it.
Oh, that's even worse.
Because now you have to squeeze this in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But Magnus, I want to point out something that I want to touch on something that you referenced, and I want to say that Stefan for New Hashima does a really good job of that balance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stefan and this guy right here.
Yeah, and this guy right there. Yeah.
Oh, Simon. Yeah.
Because Stefan could have kept doing New Hashima by himself and not included anybody else, and he could have just done it his own thing and been fine with it. But he wanted to open it up and incorporate others into it and make it available for them. So he's coordinating what everybody else brings into it, him and Simon, but then he has his own portion that he brings in on his own as well. So he does that nice balance between the two, which I think is exactly what you're talking about. And Meredith and I were having this conversation about collabs and lugs and stuff like that. And one of the things we talked about is that if there's a new collab that a group wants to start, there's got to be, exactly like what you said, 2 or 3 key individuals who are all in. Where that's, they're not doing 2 or 3 or 4 different projects and, different little things. They are working on the collab and the collab only. And that's like their main focus, so that they can create that momentum for other people to join in. Because if you don't have that, then you've got like 2 or 3 people who just show up with things that kind of look like they go together, but there's just no excitement to it. But you've got to have those 2 or 3 people who are like, this is what we're doing. If other people want to join in, cool. If not, we're going all in. And that's how you get that thing started, I think.
And you do set the bar and the standard pretty high.
Correct.
That is kind of how the collab that I'm doing is set up, where there's like a main thing in the middle of it, and then, not to give too much away, but it's kind of like a habitat stack without the habitat stack to it. So it's like everyone's got their own little vignette that kind of like collectively work as a larger scene. So if 2 people don't show up, the scene's not destroyed. And if people wanted to come in and add at the last second, it's probably not a terrible thing either. So that's kind of how mine is set up. So I'm definitely like all in for my collab. Like, it's probably going to be like the thing that I'm going to be spending the most time on this year. So I'm excited about it. And as soon as things develop more, then I can talk about it more. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Let's go, Matt. You're right next door. Matt, what's up in your world, man?
So I went to the store on August 1st and got one of the new Montanical sets, and I'm excited about this one. I got the other one as well, but I just didn't bring it up to the Lego room. And of course, there is everyone's favorite gift of purchase.
Still?
Space Baby.
You're still giving that out? I thought that would have been fun.
opportunity number 2, if you didn't get it the first time, well, they're out at my store yesterday, but they had it in stock on August 1st. And I also picked up, feeling very Olympic, I picked up the Notre Dame set, which I will get around the building since I have the larger scale architecture stuff at my work office, and students can really like that when they come in and get some talking. So I was excited when that set came out, and I was waiting for a GWP where, I'm going to spend that much money, might as well get a free thing. So that was my Lego weekend, and I'm still putting away bulk lug. But
Seriously?
there's this thing called the fall semester that starts in 1 week, and I have a class I've never taught before. So we have been.
I literally had my lug bulk put away in 30 minutes.
Again, we don't work at home and use the phone on speakerphone while we play with Lego all day.
I put my lug bulk away in 30 minutes on a Saturday when I brought it home.
A, I'm still handing out lug bulk to people. B, I get back from Austin, Texas, and I still had to clean up the mess from building stuff for Adam, which I did in April. So I am putting away parts of my own that I'd already gotten out and done part of a commission, and I'm putting away bulk lug, and I parted out some other stuff. So it's not just bulk lug, to be honest. It's a whole lot of other stuff that's being put away.
Okay.
Yeah, if it was just, and I also got a new storage unit, so I'm like reshaping the collection, which always ends up happening when bulk arrives, because now I have more of this color, and where's it going to go? I went and reorganized all of the, I did 4 part straps in Texas, so I reorganized all of the door and window frames. I'm just going to remember this the next time Dana was like, hey, do you have this part? And I'm like, I don't know, Dana. I'm still putting stuff away. I don't have time to check.
It's okay. I'll come over and help you find it.
Matt, when you said a new storage unit, I thought you meant a physical box at a location where you're.
No.
And I realized, oh no, yeah, but I know you call those storage units.
A 6 drawer and a 3 drawer that sits on top. So
I thought he meant the other thing too.
Yeah.
9 more drawers.
And it was like, Matt has a lot of Lego, so that doesn't surprise me. I mean, that's like the next stage of sorting, where you basically then have storage units for, this is my set storage unit. This is my,
I will point out that this is the fallback of your particular storage system.
Fallback?
Yeah, because you actually have to move lots of things around to make more space for things as you grow and expand your inventory. Where me, I just open up another tub and sift and boom, and I'm done.
Yeah, but when you come over and need a part, I know exactly where it is.
I know exactly where my parts are too. But I can expand and shrink my inventory as I need to. So
it's too easy. That was too easy.
Didn't you just reorder something because you couldn't find it just recently?
No. I'm still looking for that set, and that's actually part of the reason that I'm actually inventorying the basement so I can get rid of some sets.
So anyway, the answer to that question was yes. You did reorder something because you couldn't find it. So that's the answer.
No, I didn't. That doesn't mean that I didn't buy a set because I needed a part that I couldn't find. That's a completely different scenario.
Let's talk about the level of organization of Dana's basement.
That is correct, because as I have said before, and I will say again, I am pretty sure the Ark of the Covenant is hidden down there somewhere.
So if he's saying on Monday and his face is melted, we know he found it.
That is actually one of our favorite scenes in this house, by the way.
That was so gross as a kid. Well, actually, that was gross, but then when the other guy's head blew up, that was like the grossest thing I'd ever seen up to that point. So, although the transporter accident in the Star Trek the motion picture that's up there too. So
the whole movie is bad.
Where the Vulcan becomes like the little baby and everything. Oh, it's so gross.
Have you not watched The Fly?
Oh yeah. Superman 3, when the lady gets turned into the robot, freaked me out for years.
Yeah, that is a little wonky. Yeah.
It is. All right, Jeff.
Jaws. Since the set came when Jaws came out, we went to the drive-in. I was 7 years old, and you're supposed to be asleep when the R-rated movie or the adult movie comes in. It's the second of 2 movies. I saw that lady get eaten by the shark, in the opening sequence, and I could not go to sleep until I knew that shark was dead.
Whoa, the shark died? What?
I was
Spoiler
so
alert.
I was
Spoiler.
so traumatized. I refused to take a bath the next day.
So when are you solving that? That seems to be it. Never mind.
Was that an August 1st release?
That was
August 3rd.
August 3rd.
August 3rd? Okay. I have to get that set for my wife. Maybe I should order it so I can get the GWP if it's not already sold out online.
And you can also only get one GWP online, but
Not that I don't already have two of that particular GWP.
He just needs to. All Dana does is ride by the mall, and they meet him in the parking garage and slip a GWP into his shorts. So that's just the way it works for him.
You have a Lego, right?
Detour. I didn't realize that Hunter was the new assistant manager.
I think I mentioned this episodes ago, like 6 months ago or something.
You probably did. I just didn't remember it. So
Well, as we've seen in our private chat often that you will bring up conversations that we've had months ago, and I have to remind you.
well, some of us have busier lives. What can I say?
Or some of us actually pay attention to our friends.
Some
Or
of
some
us
of us don't sit around all day at their house, talking to imaginary people on the internet, and
Some of us don't shop at North Point anymore, so we don't care as much.
All right, let's go to Jeff. Jeff, bring some sanity here. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I did build some stuff where I've been rebuilding some stuff, switching camera. Hopefully this works. Of course, the angle sucks. I built an empty space that has a motor built into it.
Space.
And allows plop and drop of
Hey,
Plop and drop.
bouncy castle.
Been there.
sounds good.
Ooh.
Who hasn't?
So that's what I've been dealing with lately. I finally got it to work. I re-geared it a few times. I also switched the bottom of the net out to be the boat studs instead of 1x1 rounds, because the 1x1 rounds just fall through eventually. So it doesn't bounce as much, but it bounces a lot more reliably. So
It's got like
That's what she
waterbed
said.
qualities to it.
yeah, well, that was the original design, was using those for water. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. I've done that now, so I don't know what's next. So
Very good. It's always, when you brought that to Atlanta, I heard more about this. As people were talking, I hear about the bouncy castle like a lot. And
the
I love
bouncy castle only ran for like 4 hours in the morning on the Friday, I think. Or no, it was like Saturday morning it ran, and then it like those 1x1 studs, like round plates, dropped in, jammed up the mechanism, overheated the micro motor, and now the micro motor just doesn't spin. So that's why I rebuilt it all with with a new motor system.
But I think just the presence
Yeah,
of it was the right level of nerddom to just hit all the right cylinders. It just
fair
did.
enough.
nerd reference. Yes, for sure.
So it will be back in Atlanta this year because I have nothing else to work. No, I'm just joking. I don't know about beyond that though. I don't know if I'll truck it down one more time. But
Nice backhanded compliment, by the way.
What was that?
One more time.
What'd you say, David?
I said nice backhanded compliment that you would be bringing it to Atlanta because you have nothing else better to do.
Oh wow. No, I mean I haven't built anything else. I've been working on castles and
Good
keeps
thing.
and so, and I'm debating building another 2 feet on the side of the castle for farmland and stuff. So
You could do it.
Because
Yeah.
any castle can be bigger.
well, yeah, exactly.
Because
Always countryside.
you always got to compete with Rich. So-
Well, I think my castle is taller than his now, as well, because I did that.
But
Hold
he could probably go higher.
Because that's the castle there. Sorry for the rest of the mess. But
One day we're gonna have a sorry
Compilation
Animation?
montage.
sorry.
Sorry.
But yeah, that's about it.
but we already have the best Jeff montage ever.
Here are the categories. First off, Jeff,
Oh, really?
Jeff, and Jeff.
There is only one of me now, so you don't need to put that on.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Well, not
It's
that there's
still fun,
only
though.
one of you, but we
Well,
only
I mean,
have regular you.
I'm the only
Are you
regular.
regular?
I'm the only regular one here. Speaking of which, I'll be back in a few minutes. I got to go to the bathroom.
Oops,
Okay.
sorry.
Oh, you probably can't hear it, but I hear the rain has picked up here in the Charleston area. We're expected to have 10 inches of rain overnight, and that's just the next day.
What level of category is it now?
It's just a tropical storm, but it's moving like at 5 miles an hour.
okay.
So it's just going to soak us, and we could definitely get 20 inches before it's done. So
That's what she said.
yes,
Oh, wow.
Sorry,
Yes.
go ahead, dude.
I was good. I was good.
You were.
leave it to the friendly Canadian to bring the show down to PG-13. All right.
Have you located your local Gopherwood dealer, just in case the waters get higher?
Yes. There's some gopher wood growing across the way, so we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
I can honestly say I did not know the Gopherwood reference until recently.
I still don't know it. So what is this?
And that's what they call the wood the ark was made out of in the Bible.
Okay.
There's a song that kids sing, and they refer to it as gopher barky barky. So I prefer that. So it rhymes with arky arky, and it's
That's what the gopher Bucky was all about. I always wondered about that.
yes, that's it. Gopher barky barky. Anyway, all right. Let's see. Who have we not talked to before we get to our folks who've been to? We haven't talked to Sandlin. Sandlin, how are you, sir? What's going on?
Good. I was using some of my new lug bolt parts to put the third laser cannon
Laser.
on the E-wing, because in the let me push up my nerd glasses. The E-wing is from a comic called Dark Empire that came out way back in the 90s, and it originally did not have an R2. It just had a third laser cannon sitting on top. But I guess for the new shows and whatever, they decided to add an R2 and get rid of the third laser cannon. So I've come up with a compromise that R2 can still chill out back there. Thank you. And I also took care of one of Giddens' pet peeves, and I made it possible for the pilot to sit upright in his seat.
Nice.
And also, for those of you who have the set, you know that the pilot sits on a little plate that you can lift out, and underneath his seat is where you put his pistol. But even having done this and removed that thing, there's still room behind his seat there. There's a 2x2 space behind his seat, and his pistol fits inside. So I don't know why that was even a problem in the first place. So anyway, he can sit upright in his seat. You can open the canopy, and the laser cannon fits around.
Yeah, I like how you did that.
And then you can just set the laser cannon back for 3 laser cannon action. Pew pew pew.
Pew pew.
Pew 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 pew.
I truly think that Lego has missed an opportunity to employ Mr. Sandlin because 10 times out of 10, if there's something that Lego has done with a set poorly, he fixes it.
Yes.
I just iron it out.
Yep. I mean, there's a job function for that. I'm telling you. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I just like to say that Mr. Giddens is not the only person who really, really hates laying down pilots.
It's a common theme. It's a common theme.
It's kind of a cop out. I'm just making this thing, and I barely. Oh, we got to fit a guy in it. Just have him looking over his belly button to fly it with no controls. So
See,
I'm going to look this way.
You can see over the dashboard now. See?
that's good.
It's beautiful. Beautiful.
And the thing is that I mean, I wonder where does that fall into? I mean, that's their job. I mean, I'm working on networking and I'm building on the side. Mark is doing, our graphic design, and he's building Lego on the side. And that you've got the time to figure out these little problems. But when it's your job, you phoned it in. I don't know.
It's probably the same group that gives Spider-Man all these vehicle sets. Like Spider-Man, I don't know.
I mean, is this just a matter of making these things affordable at a certain price. I'm assuming the improvements you make involve adding pieces, not taking away, right?
Yeah, some of that, but some of it I think is also for playability, because this is something that'd be really easy for a kid to just yank. You know, it falls right off.
Right.
It's a lot of pieces held on by one clip,
Yeah.
and you know I'm not going to knock it off all the time, but a kid will just easily knock that off while they're playing with it. So that probably is one reason, but you know,
Didn't you also say in the show where they put it in, they didn't have the top cannon on either?
yeah. I just
Yeah,
meant
so-
in terms of structural
Yeah, okay.
soundness and why Lego might not do such a thing.
And I agree with the canon portion, and I also agree with the playability and the child aspect, because I did see somebody talking today about that Lego is spending probably emphasizing way too much on the adult market and the large price sets versus smaller playable sets. So I concur with that, but I still can't stand the pilot who can't sit up.
Sure. Clarification: when you said you agree with the canon portion, are you talking about the cannon of the ship, or the cannon of the ship, the one that goes on top that Mark built, or the cannon of the? Yeah,
I agree with the cannon.
The cannon of the cannon.
Laser.
I agree with the cannon being omitted on the ship.
okay, there you go. That cannon, gotcha.
Yes, but I disagree with making him lie down. He should be able to sit up, and that is probably the portion that I think they're phoning in.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they did it so that the pilot seat could lift out and have storage underneath it to put his pistol. But you don't really have to do that. You can make his seat upright and just put it behind the seat.
And how many sets have we been having for years where they didn't have a place to put the weapons and this and
Well,
that?
and it's secret storage. It's like you don't want someone to know where your gun is, so we'll put it under the seat. It's play features, right?
Sure.
Okay. Sure.
I'm not agreeing with you. I'm just saying. That's
And
probably
all
what
the
they were
things
thinking.
said, I think that E-wing set is actually pretty freaking awesome.
It looks pretty
Yeah,
good.
I mean, overall, this is like I'm really splitting hairs by doing this little tweak
totally.
and stuff, because overall, this is a really fun set. I love the fact that it has functional landing gears on it, because that usually is not something they put on their spaceships at all.
No.
So I love that. So yeah. Anyway, this was just something I did for my own amusement. Pew pew.
I mean, Giddens would consider functional landing gear to be an extra.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah, let me just go ahead and put this up there. This is the worst of the laying down of astronauts in spaceships ever. This is the worst thing ever.
It's like
He's literally laying one stud higher than his feet and looking straight up at the sky. This is like a space.
he's in business. He's in business class, is what he is.
He's like space luge.
Maybe
He
he's
also-
navigating with a heads-up display projected onto the canopy.
He might have passed out because he has no atmosphere, because he's open cockpit basically.
He has no
So-
seat, he has no nothing. So
I mean, at least in the 80s, you gave us a rocket and we put a seat on it. That was fine. We were good with that.
strapping a rocket to through a lawn chair, that's classic space all day. I'm into it.
All day long.
All right, Rich and Magnus and our friend Alex, who I hope is enjoying his time with us in our weirdness. But anyway, they just got back from Brick Fair, Virginia, and which is the grandson, or whatever of the original Brick Fairs from 2001 to 2006, which were where a few of us in the room got our start in the early 2000s going to conventions. So I'd love for you guys just to kind of talk, because y'all are just like, it was yesterday it got done, right?
Sorry, it's Brick Fest, not Brick Fair.
I'm sorry, I get it. Their Brick Fest was the original OGs, then it's Brick Fair now, which is the grandchild.
Not to be
And-
confused with Bricks Fest Live.
We don't.
Good point.
That is what we don't speak of. And
The Tanya Harding of like.
Oh no, we speak of it. We speak of it to say don't go.
It's Olympic season, which is perfect timing, even though it was Winter Olympics, but still.
Yeah.
On point.
That's the thing that takes a crowbar to your love of Lego. Is that right?
Which I believe Mark Erickson has done. Travesty, calling it out. Just calling
he
it
did
out.
that to the thing. Anyway, so why don't you guys talk about what the fest, how it was, what happened, maybe things that are different, or maybe things that are tradition and the same. Just give us the report. How was everything?
Rich, what do you think? You want to go first, or
I was going to let you and Alex have a shot at it.
Better to do that because once Rich gets going, we might run out of time.
well, what I'll say is that what can I say about this? I've been to so many of these events now. When you go to a lot of these things, the novelty factor kind of fades away, and it becomes you're kind of returning to a familiar place, and it's wonderful. You spend a lot of time looking forward to it, and then it happens, and it's 5 days, and it's just over way too fast, and you're tired and broke. But one thing that made this one interesting was that Todd had, the guy who organizes this, had actually told us in advance, we have a lot of mocks registered. Please, be ready to squish your mocks together, and if you have anything really big you haven't registered yet, we might have space for it. We need to. So it was nice to go to an event where there was not a lot of big spaces on tables in between high quality mocks. There was a lot of cool stuff to see there. What else can I say that was unique about this show? I usually display in the military area, but this time I displayed in the castle area with some castles that I built over the past year. So that was fun to sort of shake things up a little for me as someone who goes to these things a lot. I guess I found that to give myself a bit of a fresh experience, it was helpful for me to just build slightly different stuff and display in different space and hang out with slightly different people.
Space.
Makes sense? What else? What was your take, Alex?
I think I've been to a lot of these shows now as well. I mean, the first time being in 2010, when Magnus, after some persuasion, finally brought me over. So I mean, I'm still at the military table, displaying there. I think like you said, it was. I think the general level of quality was fairly high this year. I mean, a lot of impressive models. I think just we were a smaller crew at the military table this year. From the people that Magnus and I have gotten to know during this past 15 years now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think some of the younger guys who are coming into the hobby and are kind of displaying their stuff is for me personally. I mean, I don't think I could have built models at the level that these 19, 20-year-olds are doing as well as they're doing when I was their age. But it's impressive to see the level of quality being produced by all these young people who are who are kind of new to this stuff.
Yeah, they may not be aware of the, they may know who they're inspired by, but they may not know who those people were inspired and who inspired those people. But I mean, they have access. People have access to. We all have access to all kinds of stuff, bricks and colors we didn't have before. So the overall building, the quality of mocks, I think, is going up. But
no rainbow color D-Day invasion this year.
There was not a lot of really, really, really bad. So this shouldn't be displayed at a LegoCon level, like we've sometimes seen in the past.
I need to Google the rainbow color DJ. That sounds actually a lot of fun. But...
It was quite legendary in its day.
Well, the one thing I saw in pictures that Abner posted was I saw somebody did a battle scene that looked like they put a lot of work in the terrain, a lot of detail, colored, mixing up their colors. And I remember there was one particular photo that Abner posted where they had made a cobblestone, and it was the top of the Thor hammers. Like,
Yes.
I don't know, a couple hundred of them, I'm guessing, just looking at it. And I'm sitting there going, all those hammers.
Yep.
Yeah, and in the military building theme, I think what started out like 15, 20 years ago was a lot of emphasis on building cool vehicles, and the people who are doing a lot of really good work now are also putting a lot of attention into details with landscaping, like large scale and high quality of just really organic looking, very nice stuff.
Yeah, I think the vehicles are still impressive, at least a lot of them. But also, some of the most impressive stuff on the military table this year was actually landscaping. I think there was both the scene you mentioned with just the hammers as the cobblestones, and a lot of other stuff going on as well. But also just general techniques in building terrain, like using nets or ball joints or whatever to lot of inspiring stuff.
I've seen people use the nets to do water effects, like curved waves, things like that. I'm wondering if that isn't one of those parts on Bricklink that hasn't gone up in price, because if you're doing a large quantity of nets or whatever, it can actually drive up it can affect the supply and demand for that part on the resale market. So it's always kind of funny. I helped build the Darth Vader bust prototype, or one of the examples for Bricker builds, and the bricks in black that you need to make the Darth Vader bust have actually gotten pricey, partly because people are buying them all up to build these Darth Vader helmets that are pretty big.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Bricker Builds, actually, their studio that puts all the orders together is based out of Montreal now, and they were saying that they are placing bricks and pieces orders every single day, and placing orders for $999 of each part.
Yep.
I don't know how many orders they're putting in a day, but they're doing it that way, and like they're going through the same way we are, which I still find insane. But they're the reason why our orders.
They're taking all the work out of it, which makes it advantageous for somebody who wants to buy the set.
Yeah.
Because if you start thinking about all the shipping costs to try and put all the pieces together to build one of their models, it jacks up the price crazy still.
And not everyone enjoys the production side of it. I mean, I kind of enjoy the hunts when I've re-bricked sets, but not everybody. Like I've told people, like, oh yeah, I'm like, you could collect all the pieces and build yourself a green grocer, and they're like, I don't want to. Oh, okay.
One thing I will say before I forget. Apparently, there's been some rumor making the rounds that Brick Fair Virginia is going away, and I don't know if anyone had heard about that, but Todd made a point of officially saying
Meredith.
Well, apparently Brick Fair Virginia is Todd plans to do it for another 10 years. So in case anyone was wondering about that, do not expect Brick Fair to go away anytime soon.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good
That
to
is
know.
good to know, because I still want to get to Brick Fair Chantilly eventually, at some point in time.
All right, Rich, tell us about your experience. Tell us what it was like.
Oh, it was awesome reconnecting with old friends. Got to meet Maddie Brick and Mad, our friend Brick and Mad, for the first time in person. She was there.
I'm a little upset that we got to see her and we haven't seen her in forever.
I know, right? I need to reach out to her.
Some really cool large scale Lego train and town stuff from the LGMS folks. Some really cool castle stuff from this guy made a castle gray skull or red skull for He-Man, and he didn't put Lego action figures in it, but other figures to kind of represent things. But still cool. I actually told him that since he lives about 20 minutes away, that he should maybe think about coming to display here. There was a very, very cool DC-10. And it was humongous. Let me try to give you a scale here. It was like this big, nose to tail.
Wow.
A wingspan like that. All in lacquered silver, metallic silver. Yeah, exactly. I don't know how he did it or where he got the parts or if he did things to make the parts. I don't know. I don't care. The look was right. The attention to detail was
Did
fantastic. You see it, Magnus?
Yeah. The guy who built that is a guy named
He's
Jack.
like 18.
Well, I don't know how old he is now, but he's a young guy. He calls himself
Very
Big
young.
Planes online. He specializes in building large scale. He in minifig scale large planes. So he usually does.
Yeah, it was. It was fantastic. Chef's kiss. There was a very cool Saturn V set up, 10 feet high, I think. Cranes are back. There was some person who brought in cranes. Come down to Brick Fair, Virginia. Come on. More the merrier. There was over 1,400 registered people, but people who checked in were 1,320 or something like that.
Wow.
Yep. Officially the largest. Sorry?
He said it was the largest. Yeah, it was.
It is the largest actual attended event. Obviously not as big as Chicago, and that's okay. He did complain that there was too much room for consideration for AFOLs, and that he wanted some of his space back.
Say that again. I'm confused.
Yes. What?
So there was so much stuff from so many adult fans of Lego for display that he couldn't have his bouncy castle. He couldn't have his Go Fish. He couldn't have his derby race. He didn't have the reading quiet area room. We were just jam packed.
Okay.
Yeah,
you know
I
what?
know.
Those bouncy castles being gone, except for Jeff's bouncy castle for his castle, they can go because
I didn't say I agreed with him. Hold on, time out. I didn't agree with the bouncy castles not being there or being there. I just said he was mad. I'm just reporting the news.
But doesn't he get to like sell a ticket and that's a little extra income on those things? Is that the thing?
No, they're all free.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
People. Yeah.
I think he worries that if parents show up to Brick Fair and there isn't a bouncy castle, then they may not want to come back next year, which I'm not a marketing analyst. I would think that if you come to Brick Fair, you come to see Lego Mox, but I'm not a parent of young children.
Isn't that one of the complaints about the Brickfest Live is that there's not enough things to see, and then they just have little things to do, and that's not what they're there for. So
that's what I've heard.
Let me just go ahead and put it out there. Kids pastor here, 20, 30 years, bouncy castles are awful. All right. Every bouncy castle I ever rent, I've got to go get a tooth out of it because some kid lost his tooth in there. The little 6 years old has got the wiggly incisor. It comes out in the bouncy castle every time. And you know who has to go in there and get it? This guy right here. All right. So when I'm in the bouncy castle, the towers are touching, right? Because I'm weighting that baby down. All right. No. Bouncy castles are terrible. I'm just saying right now.
Instead of needle in a haystack, you could just say it's like trying to find a tooth in the bouncy castle.
Trying to find a get in a bounce house.
Anyway, so
quality content.
One more thing. Mark Staffa brought the largest, most humongous steam engine and tender I have ever seen made entirely of Lego.
Yeah, he brought that to Atlanta.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. If then you know how big it is. That thing
So,
is humongous.
one of my friends who had never been to a Lego convention came at the Atlanta show. It was pretty close to the door, and they came like, "Oh wow!" And I said, "You don't realize you're looking at over $10,000 in pieces?" And he's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like,
Oh, I would bet that number is even higher.
"Oh, I
Yeah.
would too. But at a minimum, it's $10,000."
Yeah, it's probably closer to 20, but okay.
Yeah.
Who's counting?
They were like,
because the first rule of Lego is we don't talk about how much things cost.
Yeah.
What?
People are like, well, why don't more people build big? I'm like, because you need to win the lottery to pay for
You need to like own property to store it in. And
I will say, it is not telling tales out of school, but our friend Mark Staffa did actually win the lottery. And number one, number two, Mr. Staffa is good at investments. And that's kind of his business, an accountant. So he didn't do like I would do and buy the A-Team van day one and blow it all on everything. And number three,
he's not financially irresponsible like most of us.
Okay.
That is correct.
But
okay.
I will say I met him the first time when when the North Point store opened up, and I had volunteered, and I had a 30% off coupon for up to $500 worth of merch. And I go to check out, and there's a guy with a rolling cart in front of me, and he has 2 Superstar Destroyers and 2 modulars and I said something like, "What'd the guy do? Win the lottery?" And they're like, "Yes, actually, that's exactly what happened." And I was like, "Oh, that makes sense."
That makes total sense. Yeah, you have to be retired. I'm not saying old. I'm saying retired because you have enough money not to work anymore, or have a way to have all of your money work for you.
What's up, Tim?
Or be financially irresponsible and realize that you're going to work on the day you die.
Yeah.
Or have no children and not worry about the debts after you're dead. I mean, there's
Or have children and just don't worry about your children.
Yeah, you can do that too. Yeah, you have to be able to have.
Follow us for more Lego spending.
You gotta have enough time to do stuff, and enough money to like live while you're doing the stuff, and enough space to actually do the stuff, and space to store all the stuff that you're doing when you're not doing the other stuff. You gotta have a pocket full of change.
And a spouse that's Lego tolerant.
Yes, absolutely.
Or no space.
I have those things. I'm retired. I am financially independent. I have a place to store my stuff. I don't worry about having money to eat or place to sleep or where to store my Lego or how much time I have to work on stuff. Right now have to do all my stuff.
My favorite thing I saw this past weekend was a large Jabba the Hutt palace thing that had like 9 different motors in it.
Yep.
And
some
nice lighting. The guy, I forget the name of the guy who built it, but he apparently claims that he's only been building mocks for 3 years, which is insane considering how high quality this was. It was absolutely
and the
very impressive.
and the Mustafar scene, the Darth Vader temple thing. That was insane as well. That was very large. Very
there
cool.
were a couple of collaborations. There was a Halo themed collaboration. There was some of the people who I think in the past have done Hiroshima or other sci-fi stuff worked on a collaboration on a sort of Middle Eastern or African style modern city that looked really, really good.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I heard that was like the highlight.
Or interesting twist on the cyberpunk concept. Definitely.
So wasn't there a Game of Thrones like keep or something like that, a big red castle or something like that? I saw.
Yeah, very large.
So Magnus, you made a very good point, or Rich saying the very good point about somebody only building for a couple of years and doing some amazing stuff. Steve in the room has only been he technically is a baby AFOL.
Yeah, I consider myself a noob.
Yeah, he is a baby AFOL. He is a COVID transplant into the hobby, and has been to 2 shows this year and come home with hardware. And this is technically your 2nd year of doing shows.
Yeah, I've been to 3 conventions.
Yeah. So, Angus, you're dead on. That the level of talent of people getting into the hobby who are just naturally artistic, talented in general, who are utilizing.
It's true. It's true.
They're utilizing their skills from other things into Lego. And that's why we're getting so much cool crap because, and I don't mean to, and I don't speak ill of my members here, that there's baggage that these guys have been carrying around for decades, and that they're used to things working a certain way. They've gotten into the habit of doing things a certain way.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for them to think outside of the box, not because they're incapable of it, but they know what works and they use it, and they do their thing and they do it well. Where you got these kids or even adults who are coming out of the woodwork who are like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm picking up pieces and I'm just doing stuff with it and I'm having fun. And wow, we are really in a golden age.
And
of
there's
AFOL box
parts all the time.
Yeah.
And we got used to the parts that we had, and like you can now create different shapes that you couldn't even have made 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Unless you were what's his name from Oklahoma, and then you were just teaching. But the rest of us can't make those weird angles.
Right.
Well, you got. I mean, the learning curve is a lot maybe less steep, maybe, or it's easier to climb because it's easier to get. Because what makes a good quality large mock is the ability to get multiple pieces in the same color and the same mold.
Right.
Because before BrickLink, you guys would just have to buy sets, right?
Yeah, we would.
You had to do parts drafts. You had to buy multiple sets. You had to go doing trades and this and that. And now you just place an order with Lego.com, and 4 days later, you got all sorts of bestseller parts that you can do for whatever you need to do.
And there's tutorials for advanced Lego snot out the wazoo. Everybody who's got a YouTube channel or a blog.
Oh yeah.
Tips and bricks and all those guys, man, it's like all that stuff is readily available, not kind of the secret knowledge. I figured something out and I put it in a mock and people are trying to figure it out. It's all documented now. And there's a whole new system of brackets and a whole new system of all these things. And the bar system is with all the pieces that you can do, like that, tons of snot. And then you go and buy this stupid race car right here, and there's 15 different snot techniques that you've never seen before in your life.
Is this where we all pull out the same
$20 set? Yeah, right. This little set
we all
right
saw
here.
this and we're all like,
Wow.
I have to see how they built that because this is friggin' cool. Yeah,
It is. It's freaking amazing. But you buy when we bought sets, they were good. Like a classic space set was good, but it was just straight up brick. And I mean, good. But now you buy a set and $25, and it's an AFOL trained and born and bred designer building and designing his dream set, and it passes inspection. Which, if you sneeze on those things, they come off. But all right. But
as the man who does single stud connections.
Yeah. But I'm not selling it in the store. But but still, you can pick this up and you have advanced snot knowledge in your repertoire, and you can rebuild it, right?
Yep.
The guys
Yank the wheels off and system engines on it. It's off.
Yeah.
Off we go.
Yeah.
But the guys that won Lego Masters this year were good builders, but they were also fairly new builders. But they were set builders. But there's so much technique in sets now. They learned great techniques. You know what I'm saying? So I guess the entry point is a lot easier for you to really ramp up, become a builder quicker than it used to be. Does that make sense?
The flip side to that is that I meet all these people who are fairly new to the hobby, who have been buying and building sets, and they're just getting into building mocks gradually, or they haven't even done it yet, or they say, well, I built my first mock, or I built my third mock, and I'm displaying for the first time. and you can tell that's a big intimidating thing to them. Whereas to me, when I started building Lego as a kid, I built a set, and I don't remember what my first mark was. I just organically, it seemed like an inevitable organic thing I did fairly quickly. But I think because the quality of the Lego sets is so high, it's much harder to like buy a Lego fire truck and say, I can make this better, you know? Whereas in 1985 or 1995, you could easily say, well, this is cool, but I can make this better. I have the bricks and the skills to do that.
Mark can do it. Mark.
Well, no, exactly. I mean, actually, part of what Mark's background is having crappy built sets that you wanted to make better because of whatever reason Lego did whatever they did, and then you were like, oh, I can do this better, and so you had this motivation to do that. And another skill that we got from the childhood was, oh, here's a picture of something, figure it out.
Yeah.
And that is not a skill that a lot of new AFOLs have because they've never had the reason to look at pictures. I mean, that's why, how many of us have posted something and someone says, are there instructions for that? Because they don't want to figure out how to build it. Yeah. They don't want to how to figure out how to reverse engineer something, where that's the first thing we do. I sat down and watched Mark bring something to one of the first meetings I ever went to. I took pictures of it. I came home and I rebuilt it. I'm like, I want to know how to do that. I want to rebuild that because that's how I get better as a builder, by looking at what other builders. And nowadays people are like, well, where's the instructions for that? There's all these sets. So there's pluses and minuses to all these things too. So,
you know, it's all the fault of colored chalk and microwaves. That is just the reason that the kids these days, anyways.
I know the first mock that I made a little 4-wide air car, and I actually put it I made instructions for it on a piece of paper, on like ruled line paper, so I could remember it. It's had a little, you know, the so grill cute fence piece, the 1x2x4, or 1x1x4. That was the air intake, and then I had a little cockpit for the guy, and then the stuff shot out the back. It was just a little air car. And I think I was 13 or 14 or something like that. It was just, that's how you do.
We built mocks as kids, regardless whether we knew that's what it was called, because that's what we did. We didn't have licensed themes or some architecture set that's supposed to be resembling something. So, you know, it caused us to be more creative. So that's where Magnus is talking about people who are used to building sets and it's hard for them to make that transition into mocks. But at the same time, we've got some people who are like, oh yeah, I built a couple of sets and then I just wanted pieces.
Yeah.
So there's definitely two different types of new AFOLs.
I mean, if you think about it, the ability to have a brick with studs on the side is less than 20 years old, right? I mean, well, it may be 20. When the first Star Wars sets came out, that's when the 1x4 brick with studs on the side came out. And because I remember getting that in the pod race set going, holy crap, these are level. They're not, I mean, I learned to build snot that way in that set, right? And that's, you know, that's mind-blowing technology then. Now it's in every set, right? So there's a whole lot of finesse, like the D-snot. We were talking about that before the show. Because we got a ton of those.
Is that the official term we're calling it, D-snot? I like it because it makes sense. But
what does D-snot stand for?
It's the little 1x2 with a rounded back and a snot on the front.
Have you seen it?
Oh, I think
it's 1x1 by 2/3.
Oh, okay.
It's the half-rounded snot brick.
Right.
I don't have one.
Oh, like the letter D. I thought you were talking about like taking snot away, like
de-snotting it.
Not that child.
Oh, it wasn't like the bears. The snot.
If you go to Chaco Canyon, all of the kivas are shaped like that. But
yeah, I like that piece. I don't think I have it yet.
I personally call it the Swiss Army knife of Lego pieces because it has so much versatility.
No, and Stever, you're right. We did have those snot pieces there, but they weren't really used to do construction. They were used to put some detail and finesse on things and everything. So to have those mainline constructions, and the fact that piece is following the Lego geometry by being 2/3 high is mind-blowing too, because you had to think all that math in your head, and unless you're moto, that does not come exactly naturally. Now I got a piece that just does it for me, right? So that's
you have one of these to try and figure out how to map out things,
Yeah. But still, but I'm excited for those builders who can do that and get ramped up and build super successfully and super quickly. And there's plenty of things to learn on the internet and everything and pieces to make it happen nowadays. I'm glad. I'm excited. Except those stupid kids. No.
Well, no, that's like I joke with Simon. It's like half the time he's inspiring me to build, and the other half of the time he's making me contemplate why am I even building? Because I can't do because I can't even think about doing some of the things he does. So,
surely you do things that impress him too.
And he will tell me that, and that's good to have friends that are humbling and also encouraging at the same time. So that's what, again, while I'm fortunate to be able to work from home and build, I'm also very fortunate to have all of you as friends. And I know Chris says this all the time, and I'm going to do it again anyway as well. I love you guys. Let's make it weird.
Hug it out. Hug it out. Yeah.
And I was going to say, Simon might just be being nice, though, because he's Canadian.
That's true. He could be completely lying to me.
Yeah.
Secretly, he's rolling his eyes in back of his head,
Well, he has gone on record of saying that I go into his brain and I steal ideas. He said,
I just want to think that Simon has an evil tower somewhere in Canada that he's building a real laser that he's going to just take us out one day.
Laser.
Then we have to school up Brahm, who I know already has one, and go attack back. So,
yes.
All right. Anyway, we're excited. We probably need to land the plane here before my house floods and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it's going to, but I don't know if y'all heard the emergency alert go out.
I did.
Phone.
I heard
thought it was your pacemaker.
Which is it was my pacemaker, which is great on my phone. I have to quickly silence it, and then every time have to go look on the internet. How do I find the emergency alert that I just silenced? Because it doesn't show back up; it disappears. So we actually have a flood warning here in our county. So I'm gonna get to experience life as Dana because I'm working from home this week, and I may build Lego. So that'll be fantastic. It's exciting. So exciting. But thank you guys for being here. Manus, thank you for bringing Alex. Alex, you are welcome to come back anytime. You may not want to, but that's fine. But you can. So good to have you here. Thanks for coming by today. Anyway, have a great night, everybody. Be awesome, build awesome, be kind to your neighbor. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.